Friday, June 1st, 2018. Just after 2:35 in the afternoon, across Britain, card machines start declining. A coffee, a tank of fuel, groceries at the till, card after card, declined. The strange part? The money was right there. The accounts had funds. The banks were fine. What broke was the road between them, Visa's network. For about 10 hours, roughly 1 in 10 payments failed. That day, more than 5 million of them. Your money was fine. It just couldn't move. So what happens when you tap? Your tap starts a race between 4 strangers. 1. The terminal, the shop's card reader. 2. The acquirer, the shop's bank. 3. The network, Visa or MasterCard, the switchboard in the middle. 4. The issuer, your bank, the only one who knows your balance. The question sprints terminal, acquirer, network, bank. Then the answer runs back. Total time? About 2 seconds. Let's follow a single tap, millisecond by millisecond. Tap. The terminal reads your card and builds a request, 100 milliseconds. It hops to the acquirer, then across the network to your bank, a few hundred more. Your bank does the real work, which we'll get to, and answers. Then the whole thing races back. The round trip, roughly 1.3 seconds. Approved. But hold that thought. Has any money moved? Not yet. So what is your bank doing right now? Judging the tap. In a few dozen milliseconds, it scores the risk. How much? Where? What kind of shop? And how many times has this card been used this minute? A $5 coffee near home barely registers. A $1,000 charge abroad, right after 10 small ones? The score spikes. Low enough, it approves. Too high, it declines. All before you look up. Now the twist. That approval you just got? No money moved. Here's the part almost nobody knows. Approved is not paid. Authorization is a promise. Your bank says, I'm good for it, and quietly sets the cash aside. The real money moves later, in a separate step called settlement. The approval takes about a second. Settlement takes days. So the money in that 1.3 second approval? It hasn't moved. It's only been promised. So when does the money actually move? Not tap by tap. That'd be madness. Instead, the shop bundles every approval from the day and sends them in one big batch, overnight. That step is clearing. Then, bank to bank, the real funds settle, usually 1 to 2 business days later. Millions of little promises swept into one nightly pile, paid the next morning. Fast to say yes, slow to pay. None of this is free, and it isn't the shopper who pays. Spend $100, and the shop doesn't get 100. Watch it get skimmed. The biggest slice, interchange, goes to your bank, often around $1.75. The network takes a small cut, maybe 15 cents. The shop's processor adds its markup on top. All told, for a small shop, $2 to $3 just vanishes. Every 100. Time to break it. What if your bank doesn't answer? Its systems are down. The payment shouldn't just fail, so the network covers. It's called stand-in processing. Visa answers on your bank's behalf, using limits your bank set in advance. Small coffee? Stand-in says yes. $1,000 TV? Too risky to guess, no. Which is the cruel irony of 2018. The thing that stands in for your bank is the network. And that's exactly what broke. One more way to break it. Someone steals your card number and goes on a spree, gas station, electronics store, gift card site, all in 90 seconds. Each shop just sees one normal sale, but your bank sees them stacked back to back. That pattern, too many, too fast, too far apart, trips a velocity check. The first few might sail through. Then the wall comes down. Declined. Speed is the tell. Step back, and the numbers get silly. Visa says its network can handle more than 65,000 messages every second. Most of the time, it's nowhere near that, but the headroom is the point. A payment can strike almost anywhere on Earth, any second, and the system answers in about 1 green light or red in roughly a second. 65,000 times over. So, one tap, start to finish. The terminal builds a request, sends it to the acquirer. The network routes it to your bank. Your bank scores the risk and answers, approved, in about a second. That approval is a promise, not a payment. Overnight, the day's approvals clear in a batch. The money settles days later. And a cut of every sale quietly disappears along the way. 5 million declines. One promise that hadn't moved. And now you know why. Every tap is a promise, kept in about a second. But the money itself only moves days later. Here's what's next. Your money, Move for real in 5 seconds flat. No 2-day wait. That's UPI, and it makes card networks look slow. Subscribe, and I'll crack it open.